Hello, congratulations to taking the very first important step towards financial freedom. So you never have to work again. Welcome back, and I'm so excited to see you today because we are about to embark on the most important step one of your financial freedom journey, and that is the opening up of a brokerage account. Now, before we begin, I need to highlight three very important reasons which kind of brokerage house that you should work with. This is really important, and that's why I want you to write down the three important points. Without further ado, let me go over and switch. Welcome to World Class Investing, and I'm your teacher. I'm going to share with you reason number one. Here we go. The brokerage house that we work with must be available to as many countries as possible. This is also part of our Spiking's vision to reach out to as many investors across the planet. Today, we have students coming from 80 different countries. And look here, Interactive Brokers itself has a reach of over 200 countries. Wow! And you name it, we got it. And you can go through the A to Z of countries. And every single one of you, our beloved students, I check it out. You belong to one of the 200 countries. So, step one, the reason number one, you have fulfilled it. You can definitely open up a brokerage account with Interactive Brokers. All right. Number two, what is also important to us is to get it right on the very first start before we run the race, and that is we need a very low cost brokerage house to work with. And this is the preferred choice simply because the sovereign wealth funds, the pension funds, the retirement funds, the hedge funds of the world, we use Interactive Brokers as the preferred prime broker. That means to say many of the trades got filled right here at Interactive Brokers. So the liquidity is extremely strong. And that's the reason why they can bring the cost down to the minimum cost possible for us. With that, we come to the third reason. And this third reason is really important. It is part of our strategy, whereby I share with you many times. Step one, the moment we enter the market, we are already exposed to 100% risk of the market. But the moment we enter step one, we have brought down our risk to less than 20%. That means to say we got rid of more than 80% of the risk the moment we enter the market. Step two, we bring the risk down to 0%. This is only possible if we deploy the trail limit order. And this order is found on Interactive Brokers. So I've given you the three reasons. And once you're ready, let's get started. We can proceed to launch and set up a brokerage account with them. Please go with me right now to interactivebrokers.com. Here we go. Right in front of you, this is the default landing page or the main website. You will go to the top right hand corner right there, and you'll see this red button, open account. All right. So this is the beginning of the journey. Go ahead, click that. And once you click that, it will bring you to this page right here. There are total 18 steps that we'll be going through. This is the first of the 18 steps. And I just want to break it down into really simple terms so that you know exactly what to do each step to get your brokerage account set up really successfully. All right. So create a username and password and make sure you write it down somewhere in case you forget. But the most important task is the email address so that they are in communication with you all the time through the email address. This is step one. Now, right here on step one, a few things to take note of is the country. Make sure you select the country whereby you can produce evidence that you are a resident of this country, either through your national identity, because that will also relate to the final step whereby they'll ask you to produce your utility bill, your bank statement, and so on. All right. So make sure you select the country which is your national identity. Step 2, here we go. You arrive at this page whereby they'll send you a verification email, and I want to encourage you to select this option whereby email link is not working. I tested many times. I click on the email that I received from Interactive Brokers. It's just not clickable. I'm not too sure what is the technical reason behind it, but you can select this option called you can enter code here and key in your confirmation code number right there to confirm your email address. That's step 2. Then you arrive at step 3, which is selecting an account type. Now, step 3 is important to us because we will typically select individual account. Now, you can set up multiple accounts, no problems at all. I got multiple individual accounts. I got multiple what we call joint account for many reasons. Number 1, you set up individual accounts for each of the child that you have brought to planet Earth. Right? And you trade for them on their behalf. By the time they reach the age of university and they are ready to embark on pursuing the cause of their dreams, your brokerage account will more than be enough to finance their journey. They can go to study any great universities across the world simply because you have started today. Now, the second thing about setting up a joint account is between you and your spouse. Now, that is more for estate planning. In the event, touch wood, one of you decided to go heaven earlier, then the management of the account becomes easier for your spouse instead of dealing with estate matters later on. So this is more for like joint access, and you both have accountability to each other. This is really important while you set up a joint account. But for today's demonstration at step 3, I encourage you to set up an individual account first. It's simpler. You get used to the process of filling out the paperwork, and later on when it becomes more complicated, you can set up the joint account, right? So step 3 is the individual account. With that, here we go. We go to step 4 right now. Bing. And step 4 is unique to Singapore because our government agency has a centralized what we call database about each one of us. So if you select retrieve my info, they will straight away have an API that connects to the government agency that kind of import directly your first name, last name, your national identity, your address, and everything about you. Now, for our friends and students coming from other countries, I'll encourage you to select continue without my info, right? So this is a choice. Now, if you are logging in or stating your country other than Singapore, I don't believe that you have this option. Now, most countries out there do not have this option, but just check, all right? Typically, you can also complete it without using the government engine. You can continue without my info. That is step 4. With that, we go to step 5. Bing. Step 5 is really, really simple. It's just contact information about you and so on. And just be very, very factual about it, because the final step, they'll ask you to produce evidence, right? So please do not put in kind of like fake information or false information, because this is your asset of a lifetime, all right? You don't want to mess around with it, just treating it just like a bank account. But this is something we are building for you, a legacy, okay? Step 5, we are done. With that, we go on to step number 6. Here we go. Step number 6 is more about your further personal information, birth date, status, number of dependents, and so on. Now, this is the part where you have to key in your national identity number. This is serious stuff. They will ask you for verification later on. So please do not mess it up. Be factual about it. And typically, for us from Singapore, tax residency is Singapore, unless some of our students have the place where they live versus the place that they filed their tax residency is different for many, many tax reasons, all right? So this is the part that you know what you should do and do it right, because later on, you still need to produce evidence to support your application process here, all right? So we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go to step 7 right now. here we go. Step 7 is more about your employment status. They typically like to know, are you employed? And they typically prefer accounts whereby you are already employed. All right. So this is the part, the step 7, where it becomes interesting. You have to declare your source of wealth, whether it's from allowance from your spouse or inheritance, interest, dividend income. Typically, we have that for the stocks or the bonds that we hold, and then market trading profits. You can have also have some of those if you already started trading. Then, most importantly, for those of you who are civil servant, you have government retirement benefits, and if you are living in a house that you are renting out as well, then you have property income, rental income, and so on. Right. So this part, as you key in, you show the 100% breakdown of your different sources of income. With that, let's move on to the next step. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are at step number 8 right now out of total 18 steps. And here we go. Account information, please remember to do this. Select United States dollar because you do not want to look at stock prices in US dollars and then you have to convert it to your domestic currency. That is too much to handle. That's too much confusion. Everything should be in US dollars. Later on, I'll produce the steps for you to wire transfer money using US dollars, right? So just make sure you select this part. And then, of course, the security questions are really personable to you. And make sure you get it right in case you forget your password access, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And step 9 right now. All right. Investor declaration. So please go and select retail. You are defined as a retail investor for step number 9. But some of you do possess expert knowledge. Like myself, I'm under expert investor, and quite a number of you also qualify under accredited investor. But just remember, whatever you state here, you have to produce the evidence later on, which IB will do the cross verification with you. All right, just remember that. Now we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, halfway already, 50%, 9 steps, total of 18. Now we go on to step number 10, and this is the part, it becomes really, really critical. Configuring your trading account, all right? Now, I want to use the lowest possible way to qualify your account. I'll select an annual income less than 40,000. And if you have been saving 10% of your annual income of 40,000, that means you are having a saving of $4,000 a year. And if you work over the past 10 years, you would have a net worth of at least $40,000. Now, just use simple math to kind of arrive at 40,000, that 20 to 50,000 range, and which is also representative of your liquid net worth between 20 to 50,000 range. Now, some of you own properties, then of course your amount will be much higher. Some of you own Bitcoins. Again, with the all-time high right now, your amount will be much higher. So just make sure you're able to state factually. Again, they'll ask you to produce evidence later on, all right? Now, the second part here, which is your investment objective, I selected for you. This is exactly what we're going to do. Number 1, preservation of capital and income generation. Number 2 is growth. So everything that I'm going to teach you is about preservation and growth. For hedging and profits from active trading and speculation, that one is later on, right? You can see the amber light as well as the red light. That's like a red flag. So just don't get too aggressive at the start of the account opening. Start with these two. Later on, you can come back here. Once the account is set up successfully, come back here and reconfigure again. All right, just keep it simple at the very beginning since you're opening a new account and you are a new customer to Interactive Broker. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are at step 11 right now. Okay. For step 11, it's about your trading experience. Please put this down correctly. I can't overly emphasize on this part because everything that you're going to learn from us here at Spiking will give you a head start of at least 3 years of experience in the market. I say again, 3 years experience in the market. Why? Because we don't teach you basic stuff. We straight away raise the bar to elevate your understanding and wisdom to the level of Wall Street money managers. We are trading and investing alongside with them. All right. So for a start, everything that you learn will give you a 3 years head start compared to other retail investors out there who kind of moving in the blind. They do not have data to look at. They don't even know what the big whales are doing in the marketplace. They are blind. Despite that, they can declare how many years of experience. Let me tell you, we are way ahead of them simply because of superiority in our data, superiority in our strategy, and superiority in our Holy Grail portfolio. All right, so I want to give you this confidence. This is the part where you are doing at least 3 years of experience, and according to a Holy Grail portfolio, you have 16 different stocks. This part here, right? And you possess good knowledge because each of the stocks, we are picking out the very best of each sector. You are having a very, very advanced, extensive knowledge of the stock that you invest. All right. So we declare that as good knowledge. With that, let's move on to the next step. And this is the part whereby we are looking at options trading. Now, this will kick in after we experience the first interest rate cut from FOMC. Remember, do not rush into options until the market kind of given us the correct signal. I don't want you to be rushed through the process. So I'm very, very conservative. I want to make sure your hard-earned money, they don't go to waste. They are building your legacy for lifetime. Please remember the context where we come from, because I truly believe in never work again. This is where the instruments pay you money. Please get it right. We are not here to speculate. We are not here to gamble. We are here to build a legacy that you can pass on to your future generation. All right? So on this note, please select level 1, covered positions. I'll be teaching you this once we got the first signal of the interest rate cut. And in terms of options, again, whatever I teach you is 3 years far out compared to the rest. And you'll be doing about 11 to 25 trades per year, and you possess good knowledge. Okay? So we are done on this step. Next step, Forex and currency. You don't have to do much. And over here, regulatory information, most of you are likely no, unless you come from a different background, then you have to declare correctly as per yes. All right? But you, by default, most of you will be under the selection of no, N-O, no. Next step is the stock yield enhancement. Just put a tick, nothing to lose, no risk at all. This is more about your cash and your stock sitting there, helping you to generate extra income. All right. And finally, the bottom, how do you hear about us? Recommendation, influencer. I'll typically select that. Okay. We got 4 more steps to go. And here we go. We are on 4 steps. Yep, correct. 4 more steps to go. And here we go. Next one up is on the treaty benefits qualifications. Now, you can go out here and select the country that you belong to. And unless your country and United States, they have signed a tax treaty benefit agreement, then you will be able to select the choice here. Now, for Singapore and United States, we do not qualify for the US tax treaty benefits. That's why I declare I do not qualify, all right? And finally, one last check. Your country or tax residency. Remember, we had this in the earlier steps. Just make sure you're able to declare your taxpayer identification number, typically, which is your national identity number, right? So this part, please get it right. 3 more steps. 16, 17, step 16 right now is the final part where you have to sign off here, and you just have to type out your name. Not like your actual signature. It's just typing out your full name, and that's in digital form is approved and kind of accepted by Interactive Broker. 2 more steps to go. Step 17. The last part is to review and sign and agree on all the agreements, because if you don't agree on any of the agreements, they will not allow you to become their customers. All right, just remember that. And the final steps, this is the final step, step 18, because this is the part they will cross-check and verify based on their own database. So things like this, your mobile number, they need a confirmation, they'll fire off an SMS to you. Number 2, verify your identity. We need to ensure that your personal details have not been fraudulently used by someone else, which is good. You just click the proceed to complete the steps. Next, submit a document to verify your residential address. This is serious stuff, like your utility bill, like your bank statement, all right? Something, a document from a government agency. Typically, it's like electricity, water, internet, bank. These are the documents, typical documents. The last part, submit a photo ID to verify your identity, which is typically your national identity card. There you go. We are done on that, and that's where you are almost there. And once this step is completed, congratulations, they will go on to approve your account. And once your account is approved, you will have the instruction to wire transfer your money. So these are your 18 steps to get started. Remember, this is your legacy. This is your asset. Get it right. And you're going to own it for a lifetime, and subsequently you can start transferring some of the assets to your children, to your spouse, to whoever that you want to give to. And most importantly, the very first step that you have taken prepares you for a journey of a lifetime as an investor. Congratulations once again. I'm really excited to see you here taking the very first step. And this first step is the most memorable step, because every year IB will send you an email to kind of remind you which is the day that you set up your first brokerage account, and that starts your journey towards financial freedom. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.